Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Feng Shui Living. Today, we're diving into the latest and greatest interior design trends of 2024 and the energetic effect of those trends. I love this episode. I can't wait for you to listen. Welcome to Feng Shui Living, a podcast for busy women looking to de-stress and live with more intention. I'm Lisa Morton, and I'm passionate about helping you create a home that not only inspires you, but empowers you. Years ago, I was severely struggling with my mental health and wellness, and while I'd implemented yoga, meditation, therapy, and more, I just could not find that missing piece of the puzzle. And that was until I explored my home. You see, the interior designer in me had made it beautiful, but it wasn't supporting me energetically. Fast forward, and I've now been in the interior design industry for 20 years, and I've devoted the past 10 years to Feng Shui and a holistic design approach. In this podcast, I'll be sharing with you interviews, stories, and knowledge, as well as some super easy, simple tips that you can take on today. If you're looking to be more intentional and create a life and home that you love, then you're in the right place. Hello, friends. Welcome to this episode. Today, we're talking about interior design trends. This is going to be a fun episode. I've been working on this one for a while. First, I thought I'd take a moment to tell you just some craziness that's going on. As you know, there have been some really rough hurricanes happening in Florida, and unfortunately we had them both hit our home that we have down near Tampa. We're about a block and a half from the beach. And so all last week I was cleaning out a house that had 4 feet of seawater, of sewage water, and I was able to save about 2 boxes of belongings. Everything else had to be tossed. It was really stressful. It was wild. It was dirty, smelly. The grossest job I've ever taken on, I've ever done in my life. And wow, some lessons learned. And I have an episode that I'm preparing all about lessons learned from this experience, connecting with this sweet home that I loved, that provided us with so much enjoyment and a great getaway during the winter. That's a whole nother episode, but I wanted to share that unfortunately we will have to cancel the February Feng Shui certification that I've been working on. So if you were hoping to get into that, due to everything just being in bad shape, we've had to cancel it because it was going to be held in Florida, in that area. So the next opportunity, if you're looking to get certified as an instinctive Feng Shui expert and do what I do, your next opportunity is going to be May. And I'm just about ready to release these dates. It's going to be a very special experience. It will be located in my hometown of Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I live currently with my husband, and you will be able to come to my home and experience my home and the energy of my space and everything I've created. We'll also be having an offsite location where we can stay and work together and explore and learn and connect. It's going to be fantastic, and I look forward to having you join. If you want more information, pop over to my school, elevatedlivingschool.com. and sign up at the bottom, and then you'll be notified of any future trainings or any other classes. I'm currently also teaching an interior design basics class. This is the basics. We're going through the principles and elements of design. We're going through color. This is great if you're a DIYer, if you want to learn more about interior design. Maybe you're a real estate agent and you want to understand some of those principles so you can speak to those a little better for your clients. Anyway, so I'm in the midst of a 4-part series right now, and I'll be hosting the next one at the beginning of the year. So also get on the sign-up sheet if you want to know about that. All right, let's get into today's episode. So, as I said, we're talking about the latest and greatest interior design trends of 2024 and their effects. So I thought this was a great time. I mean, typically we talk trends at the beginning of the year, but I thought this was a really good time because especially when I did more traditional design, my phone would start ringing off the hook. Kids would go back to school and my phone would just start ringing like crazy because people started thinking holiday events, hosting parties, hosting events, Thanksgiving dinners. They're going to have house guests and they want to get their home in order. They want to update or just give it a refresh before they have all of these house guests. So I thought this is a good time to do this episode. I also want to mention too, before we get in, that trends are constantly evolving. And I never want you to feel like you have to take on a trend. Only take a trend on if you personally resonate with it, if you love it. Just take these trends as a little inspiration or a way for you to just stay informed of what's going on, and maybe something feels right and you want to take that on. But don't ever feel pressured to take on any type of design trend. All right, so we're going to get into our first trend that I'm excited to talk about, and that is the rise of deep, moody colors. There is this growing popularity in these rich, dark color palettes, these burgundies and plums and a lot of charcoals, deep greens, deep blue colors, navy blues, and these really invoke kind of an intimacy, a luxurious vibe sometimes, a kind of dramatic and cozy spaces. Sometimes it can feel a little overwhelming having these deep colors. So I want to be mindful if you're bringing these in. So the feng shui effects of these deep colors, right? It's like I said, it's cozy. It feels luxurious. Maybe in your wealth and abundance gua, you want to take on some of these moody colors, but it can darken a room pretty quickly. So I always recommend, if you want to take on these darker colors, ensure that you have some medium tones and then a few small light tones. And I know you're going to want it, if you're taking on this moody, deep vibe, you want it to have that effect, and I get that. But it's important for balance to at least have some medium tones. So say you're taking on navy, maybe bring in like a camel color, right, as a medium tone. Just to kind of lift it a little bit so it doesn't get so dark and heavy. So these dark colors kind of connect to the winter season. In winter, we know we go within, we get quiet, we get still. I don't know about you, but I really love to curl up on the sofa with a movie and a cup of tea, and I'd be happy staying there all day in a cold day in January. I don't have to go anywhere. I want to stay snuggled up where it's warm and cozy. And that's what these moody colors can bring on. So if you're craving that, that's great. However, if you're the flip side and you're like me and I get the winter blahs, these deep moody colors may not be the best for you. It can kind of be difficult to get our energy up and get our energy going if we have tasks to complete. So just something to be mindful of when you're taking on these deep, moody colors. They're beautiful, but just be aware. Let's get into a little more on color, because there's so much going on with color right now. I feel like the 90s are back. The 90s are definitely back. I remember when I first got into exploring design, and even before, I started school, I remember paying attention to the colors and the trends, and I remember this was a big thing. Burgundy. Who remembers having their mother's living room or their aunt's kitchen, or maybe you had a burgundy bedroom, back in the 90s? Well, it's back. Burgundy to red wine. These dark, moody colors, are a little more bold than some of those deep navies, greens, charcoals that I talked about. So red, we know, lifts our energy. Red is a fire element, but when it's darkened so much, it isn't quite as bold, which is nice. So if you do want to bring in a red and you want to be aware of having your energy go too high, then maybe a burgundy is for you. It's a softer approach. It can be moody, right? And when I'm talking about bringing color in, you don't have to paint the entire room this color. You can introduce some candlesticks. You can introduce some artwork, or maybe a throw pillow. You guys know I'm all about starting small and implementing these colors to see how you feel, to see how you like it, to see how your body reacts, and also to see how your family reacts. Do they love it too? Do they feel good? The next color I want to touch on is browns, which is really fun. And wow, I keep seeing so much brown coming back. Chocolate browns I'm seeing in fashion, in clothing, in sweaters and dresses. And I just picked up a chocolate brown top, and the whole time I'm like trying it on and I'm thinking, I had this exact same top back in like the 90s, 2000s. I couldn't help but laugh. So I'd love to know if you're with me and you're seeing all these trends come back from high school, college days. I can't help but laugh. But these browns they're fun. They're nice. And I think our bodies have been craving them. You know, this kind of connects to the warm whites. I was talking a lot about warm whites and how they're back. And I think our bodies have been craving this sense of comforting and coziness. So it's nice to have these back. Regarding the brown tones, what's really popular is the chocolate. Think toffee. Think a caramel color. They sound wonderful, don't they? Brown, toffee, caramel colors are really nice to make us feel grounded. So these colors connect to the earth element of Feng Shui. That helps us feel grounded and comforted and stable and just kind of what a lot of us need right now. So these are really great. Bring them in, introduce them. Also, I mentioned the buttery yellow. I've talked about this many times. I had an office years ago that was a buttery yellow color. We moved into a home and I wasn't sure about this color, but I'm like, I'll leave it until I decide another color to put into this room. Well, I fell in love with it and I found yellow, this buttery yellow color, to be so helpful at my productivity. I was getting so much done and having such clarity and focus because it's grounding, but it also keeps your energy up at the same time. So it's a really great yellow, color for an office space. So if you're trying to explore different colors for your office space, give yellow a try. If you need more help, let me know. I do offer my free 15-minute discovery calls. Pop over to my website to schedule one and we can find you just the right buttery yellow color. The next trend I want to talk about, which I've talked a lot about this year because I think it's really fun, but it's color drenching. So if you're new to this concept, it is when you take a color and you apply it everywhere in the room. It's applied to the walls. It's applied to the ceiling. It's applied to the trim. It's applied to the interior of the door. So everything is that color. Now, initially, some people will say, oh my goodness, that's just wild. That's too much. But it feels really comforting and really cozy. I was recently at a coffee shop and it kind of had my dream color. It was very close to the color I have in my dining room. It was kind of a blue-gray color, a deeper blue-gray color, and it was color-drenched. The ceiling, and it was this cute little room that you could go in and reserve and have meetings and everything, but it was color-drenched. The ceilings, the walls, the trim, it was beautiful. And then they had some gold accents, and it was calming and comforting, and sitting there at this coffee shop having a cup of coffee and getting some work done, and it was just a really nice experience. So explore color drenching. I also have a girlfriend that has a pink color drenched room. Now, when I first heard about it, I was thinking, oh my goodness, but it's really cozy and really cool. It feels really great. So don't write off color drenching. Be open to it if you feel like that's something you want to take on. The next trend I want to talk about is maximalism and minimalism. Okay, so these are both just really making waves right now. You're hearing a lot about this maximalism trend and then minimalism. We've talked about minimalism. They're really two just totally opposing styles, and they attract totally different people. I personally love a little more minimalism in my life. I think it keeps my nervous system calm. I think it helps my clients focus on being calm and centered. But if you're the person that you love everything like making a statement, then you go for it. Be mindful that if you struggle with focus, maybe you struggle with ADHD or you're just having a hard time staying focused, these environments may not be the most supportive for you. When you have a lot going on from colors and patterns and textures and shapes, it's constantly like grasping your attention and constantly you're just having that connection with the items, right? And so it can wear us down. I know I personally get just tired, get worn down being in places with too much activity. And you may know, if you're, more of an empath, you may notice this too. And our spaces are like that. If you're around too many people, it can wear you down. If you're around too much stuff, too many things to look at, then it can just really weigh on you. So if you want to take on maximalism and you love it and you love having everything make a statement and be bold and wild, then go for it. Maybe you want to take on maximalism with the intention of having very intentional pieces that are quiet. This is what I would ultimately recommend. Have the wild wallpaper, have the bold teal sofa, but then maybe choose a quiet rug. Maybe a flooring that's rather neutral, right? So just experiment, see what feels right to you. Regarding minimalism, this can be really calming and centering. If you like, just calming vibes, if that's what you crave, if you really crave having a quieter household, having energy brought down and just being more smooth and consistent, then minimalism is for you. Now, when I talk about minimalism, I don't mean you can't have things in your home. I know people think that, minimalism is just having, one chair in your house and 3 glasses. But think of it more as being mindful and having things that you really value, you really love, and you actually use, and getting rid of the rest. So having clean lines, natural textures, clean palettes, really functional design can really be good for your nervous system if this is something, you're working with. So that is my little blurb on maximalism versus minimalism. And I don't see this trend going anywhere. I think it's going to be around for a while. I think you're going to see both of these just really big for quite some time. And next we have curved lines, more softened edges. So a lot of rounded furniture. There's really this big shift to all this like curved furniture, these soft lines, these, architectural arched doorways and cutouts that really break away from those sharp angles that we're seeing from just kind of this modern minimalism, right? These sharp lines, these coffee tables with lines and edges that, don't really bring our body ease. Having more curved lines makes us feel good. Following Feng Shui, if you want to make your body feel more restful, opt for curved lines versus sharp points or edges. I actually just worked with someone and we were switching up several things in her home, but specifically this hearth room. She had this coffee table and it was really beautiful, but there was just too many angular lines in this space. And so I convinced her to remove that coffee table and put in a round coffee table. And she could not believe the difference it made in the space. She said prior, when she had the rectangular table, she didn't even want to go in that room. And now she loves being in this space. She was able to bring her body to just more of a restful state, being in this space with the rounded coffee table versus the rectangular. It's really cool. Give it an experiment. If you have an area in your home, maybe maybe you want to play with your coffee table. Dig around your house. See if you have a rounded coffee table in the basement that you can bring up and just experiment. Just see how it feels. It doesn't mean you have to keep it forever. Just see. These soft edges just create fluidity and really make the space more inviting. It also allows energy to flow. I always talk about energy flowing like water. It's going to follow the path of least resistance. When you have all these corners and harsh edges, in the way, it kind of turns a nice stream into like a raging river at the theme park. And we don't want that. That isn't calming and peaceful and makes us feel good. So take on those soft lines, curving edges. We have 2 more to go through. Next, we have texture. I think of texture and fall, they go hand in hand. Like texture is when you bring in a lot of texture to your space, that's like going through the drive-thru at your favorite coffee shop and getting a pumpkin spice latte and taking that first sip and you're like, oh, it feels so cozy. Do you know what I mean? That's what texture can do. Having textures just really makes our body feel good. It connects to the earth element. We talked about the earth element with the brown colors, but texture also introduces the earth element. So what we're seeing popular right now are beautiful stone walls in kitchens, textural rugs, a lot of textiles with a lot of texture, also accessories. I just actually snagged these really cute candle holders that are they're painted black, but they had all this cool texture, kind of bumpy design to them, and it was just really interesting. That adds interest to a space, right? It makes us, I don't know about you, but I love anything tactile, even like artwork. I get so close and I'm like, oh, I just want to touch it so bad just to feel that texture, right? It just makes us feel really cool and really pumpkin spice latte vibes. Again, this time of year, moving into fall, our body starts craving this. We're going from, we went left summer, high energy, to moving into fall, more focused energy, preparing for the winter season where we go within. So we talked about texture, and I wanted to lastly focus on a specific texture that I'm seeing a lot and I love, and I think you will too. And that is boucle. So if you don't know what boucle is, it's this nubby fabric that's made with little loops. These are really fun fabrics to use for, say, an accent chair, an ottoman, a smaller piece of upholstered furniture. I don't necessarily recommend it for, say, a large sofa or sectional. That can just be totally overwhelming. And typically, you see these boucle fabrics in more neutral colors: white, beige, off-white, cream, tan. You can get probably any color of this fabric, but typically in stores, in retail locations, you are going to see more of these neutral colors. I think the neutral, especially bringing in those brown, tan, caramel colors, it's just a great addition for fall. It's a great way to add a little interest to a room when you don't want to go with a wild fabric or you don't want to go with a wild color. Just this neutral boucle ottoman is going to be adorable in your space. So take that on and let me know. Send me a picture. Well, friends, that is my overview of 2024 trends as we're moving into fall. It's been interesting, too, because some of these trends have even shifted from when we started 2024. So I cannot wait to see what is happening for 2025. Stay tuned. I will be doing this once again as we get closer to 2025, so we know what to expect and how to prepare our homes and how to understand the energy. We're constantly affecting the energy of our home. We're constantly doing feng shui, whether we realize it or not. The thing is to know, are we improving the feng shui or are we not improving the feng shui? Because every action you take in your home, everything you bring in affects the energy of your home. So we always want to be working towards, moving in the right direction, getting the better energy, ridding our homes of the not so good energy. Okay, friends, to anyone dealing with all the destruction from the hurricanes, my heart goes out to you. If I can provide you with any help, any feng shui help, any advice regarding materials, please reach out. I would love to support you in any way. I've been through that cleanup. I saw all the favorite things that I had to toss on the street corner because they were covered in filth, and it's sad. It's sad. I definitely know my own nervous system had to go through, well, I'm still going through a healing period. This space that supported me and my family, and we have so many memories, and it's just not in good shape. So I'm here. Reach out. Let me know how I can help. If you found today's episode fun, I would love for you to share it with a friend. If you know someone who's a real estate agent, who's a home organizer, who, loves interior design, share it with them. And I thank you all for listening, especially if you're new. So happy to have you here. I will see you all at our next episode. Take care. Special thanks to our production company, Influencer.tv, the WELT 95.7 studios, and our sponsor, Good She. For more information, head over to the show notes. Be sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and give us a 5-star review. I'll see you next time.